Tiddlywinks, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Gentoo, your source for all things gaming and tech related. I'm Aaron James.
And I'm Wesley Ellison. Let's jump right into this week's up-and-coming releases. You can see these games and many more released throughout the month on all of your favorite platforms.
It's not a huge week for game releases, but we do have a new console, as well as a new 2D shooter, and a game about Pablo Escobar.
Lomo of Plata. Google Stadia releases on November 19th with a whole list of games too long for us to list here. With the Premier Edition selling for $130 and only a required internet speed of 35 megabytes per second to enjoy your games at 4K at 60 frames a second. The Stadia could shake up the entire gaming market. Just shake it up. Keep on shaking. Shake up that market.
Black Future 88 releases for the PC and Switch on November 21st. Black Future 88 is a synth-punk roguelike 2D action shooter. Vertically climb an always evolving procedural tower to reach the top and kill its insane owner before your heart explodes.
Narcos: Rise of the Cartels releases this week on PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Switch. Rise of the Cartels is a brutal turn-based action strategy game based on the hit Netflix TV series. Explore the entire first season with two sides, each with their own unique story. That sounds fun.
I haven't seen the show.
It's a great show. It's a great show.
These games and many more will be releasing throughout the month, so be sure to be on the lookout for them. Up next,
check out the finer things
with Quinn.
With Quinn.
I'm sure my mom was just trying to protect me. Now that there's only one of us left, I thought it was time I heard the stories. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Finer Things, the show where we examine games for their artistic value. By now, you know, I'm your host, Quinn Foose. Today's episode will dip back into the indie game genre once more to explore an emotional adventure game. This time around, the title in question is What Remains of Edith Finch. What Remains of Edith Finch was released in April of 2017 by developer Giant Sparrow, who was previously known only for the one game that they had put out prior to this one, The Unfinished Swan, which released in October of 2012. Now, if you recall from the episode where we covered Firewatch, I am not much of an indie game player myself. However, What Remains of Edith Finch caught my attention early on, not long after its release, because of the praise it was given by so many of those who reviewed the title. When PlayStation so kindly released it as one of their free games for PlayStation Plus members for May of this year, I downloaded it immediately. At first glance, What Remains of Edith Finch seems to be a simple walking simulator. The point of the game is to wander as Edith through her old family house that has been abandoned ever since her mother chose to leave it. Throughout the house are locked doors and secret passageways that seem enticing but do not initially appear to hold much value as they are inaccessible to you. However, the game becomes much more once you begin to gain access to these hidden areas that once served as the stage for the long and tragic story of the family that once lived in them. Inside each area lies the tales of each member of the Finch family throughout the generations, and when you interact with these elements, something special happens. For each member's story, you are taken away from Edith and put into their shoes, sometimes literally and other times as a cat or owl in a dream, or a storybook character that lives out his own life inside the head of a man ever retreating from reality. These portions of the game are when the Finch family's story truly shines and comes to life as the immersion and investment of the players only increases with each venture into the past. This, along with the storybook-style animation of the world, creates a small and isolated scene in which players can fully experience the emotional journey of going through the years and generations, the tragedies and losses that culminate with Edith Finch as the lone survivor of the family, hoping for the future and the child that she will soon bring into it. If you're looking for a short but sweet story, then do not miss out on this journey through the Finch family home, and thank you once again for joining me on The Finer Things. Make sure not to miss the next episode. Thanks for watching.
November 8th saw the release of the previously talked about title, Death Stranding, the new PlayStation exclusive from popular game designer Hideo Kojima. In my earlier video, I mentioned how I was trying to keep my expectations in line due to not seeing Kojima as an infallible man, as well as having reservations about a game where the core loop is delivering packages and traversing rough terrain. After finally getting my hands on the game and clocking in over 55 hours, more than 4 times the hours I've logged into the new Call of Duty, Death Stranding delivered on every front for me. It's a beautiful game with a loaded story that features some mysterious and incredibly creative, while sometimes convoluted, world building with terrific performances. It also included some of the most interesting gameplay mechanics I've seen, making hiking from point A to point B more engaging than I thought possible. When you play a game such as Skyrim, you never worry about the travel to your destination. You select the quest, the marker appears, and you hoof it to the place you're going. Maybe the worries lie in the destination itself, but not in the travel. In Death Stranding, the travel is the challenge. The path you will take is the main issue you will face. How do you reach this place? What's the most optimal route for you to take? Are you going to encounter enemies, rain, or BTs? How much cargo should you take with you? Will you still have room to take useful items and weapons? I really haven't played anything quite like it. It's a very compelling blend of meditative and slow-paced, yet thoughtful gameplay. The game really forces you to think about your surroundings at all times. The terrain can be downright cruel if you try to rush a delivery, and that's what I don't get about people naming it a walking simulator. I guess it's one if you strip away all the details, but the whole gameplay system relies on those little details. You must always keep those variables in your head, or else you'll mess up and damage your cargo. It demands total awareness at all times. I'm also amazed with the connected online worlds that allow equipment and structures of other players to appear in your games. Some people seemingly worry that they'd miss out, or that everything's going to be built when they get to play, but I've not once come across a moment where the gameplay was taken from me. I often find things and buildings that I'm happy to see, like power stations next to shelters, zip lines up in the mountains, but they're usually missing something and I get to add that myself. And if, for example, a bridge in a certain spot has a bunch of likes, you can always disassemble it and then build your own bridge in the very spot. The guy with the original bridge will still get his likes, but in the games where your bridge shows up, hopefully people will like it equally. You don't compete directly, after all. If I were to list some of the flaws, they'd mostly be related to combat. It's okay and mildly satisfying, but it's pretty easy even on the hardest difficulty. The variety of weapons offered to me was a bit larger than I had anticipated before the game's release, so that was a nice surprise. All in all, Death Stranding has turned into one of the most interesting gaming experiences I've had in a long time, and will surely end up as one of my most played games this year. This is one of the best PlayStation exclusive titles I've played, and I'm happy that it's coming to PC so more people will get to experience this game. Thanks for watching Gentoo. Tune in next week on KNWT, Channel 8.
Oh man, can't believe I stayed up doing that Fred paper all night. Well, at least I heard it's supposed to snow today. Oh yeah, it's snowing finally. I got my snowflake earrings and I'm ready to go. It's finally time to go snowboarding. Man, I've been waiting on this all year. Bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Not again. You know what? I'm not gonna let that stop me. Maybe I should just leave that to Sonic. That's right, this week we are playing Sonic Riders, one of the most classic Sonic games there ever was. Now I'm finally able to play a game that isn't just like a real sport. This is just kind of like a made up one-ish thing, but it's still a sport, and we're still gonna play it here on Game Breakers. Now I'm sure you're asking yourself, Wesley, why are you playing Sonic? Well, I'm kidding, you already know the answer to that. Of course, the new Sonic trailer came out for the movie, and it actually looks good, guys. And honestly, when I saw the trailer initially at first, I was like, this is whack. It doesn't look like Sonic. It don't look like Sonic, and it doesn't look like Sonic. It doesn't feel like Sonic. It doesn't do anything that Sonic would do. So when I saw the new trailer, it made me just really want to play this game once again. And I believe I'm not the only person that feels that way about this movie. Now back to the actual game of Sonic Riders. This is one of those games where I played a lot as a kid, but I didn't really play it by myself. I always had a friend, or in my case, I had a cousin that I played this game with all of the time. Now obviously there's a lot of options when it comes to Sonic and sports games, because I mean, even technically the just original Sonic game of him sprinting the entire time is basically just track, I guess, so you can play that one. But this one is the most obvious racing / sports game. I believe this game was so much fun because it had the perfect concoction of racing games at the time. It had that familiar feel of a Mario Kart game, and had the classic look of those arcade racing games we used to play as a kid, and it had the pace of a Sonic game. Another reason why it was so successful is because it didn't try too hard to just venture out from other games. I mean, because it felt so familiar and so casual, it was an easy game for kids to pick up like myself. So it wasn't really a difficult game. I mean, once you got into the story mode, there was definitely some difficult parts about it. But after a while, you got a feel for it, and it didn't really feel like anything crazy. And I believe that's the best part about this game. The game's been out for 14 years, and I can still pick it up and play it like I didn't miss a beat. And that probably helps it for the newer generation. Kids who have never played this game before, never even probably heard of it, probably never even heard of Sonic, are hearing about this movie and probably want to play this game. And this is one of the best games to pick up for sure. I'm really interested to see what happens when Sonic officially hits the mainstream on the big theaters next year, and we'll really see how they do him justice. But that's all the time that we have for this week on Game Breakers. I'm your host, Wesley Ellington. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to the Gauntlet.
My name is Keegan Cooper, and our special guest,
Aaron James.
Molly Gardner.
Bradley Justice.
That's me. I'm Craig.
Craig Richard, folks.
It's Wesley Ellington.
Wesley Ellington. And
Cody Nance.
Adam Bocart.
Dalton Spees.
it's Will Murphy, everybody. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Keegan.
Good evening, everyone. For the past 10 weeks, challengers from all parts of KNWT have stepped into my arena in hopes to have their name in bright lights as a Cooper Challenge Arena winner. Many of them were successful, some not so lucky. But now they have the opportunity to prove their superiority with one final test: the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is the final competition, the final challenge that I have to offer for my contestants. Only one will reign victorious, only one will have their name in lights as the first ever Cooper Challenge Arena champion. How will it be decided, you ask? Tune in to week 12. The Gauntlet brings you probably the most difficult challenge of all: knowledge. It is one thing to be good at a video game, but it is those who are knowledgeable about the game's entirety that are the true champions. The game itself will consist of questions that are asked to each contestant at random. If they answer correctly, they're safe. If they answer incorrectly, they will spin our lovely challenge wheel that was built by our very own engineer, Will Murphy. It's a simple game, folks, a new challenge and a return of some of your favorite competitors mixed with a few new ones, all trying to climb their way into Cooper Challenge Arena. Make sure to tune in to the KNWT YouTube page for a chance to see the Gauntlet and see who is crowned our Cooper Challenge Arena champion.
What's up? It's your boy Dicey, and this is our last tutorial episode. So this week we're going to be talking about equipment. That's right, it's the D&D fashion episode, so let's get dressed. Equipment is the last key component of D&D. How you look and what you fight with is just as important as knowing how to fight and what to do when you're not fighting. So what is important about equipment though? Well, equipment fills all those gaps that you have in your character sheet. What I mean by that is, it's the glue that brings your whole character together. Equipment can play a role into your character's backstory. It definitely determines how you handle combat. Equipment just kind of polishes up how your character is made. So let's first look at the weapons. Weapons are split up between simple and martial weapons. The best way to look at simple weapons is basically they're the weapons a peasant could get their hands on. Things like clubs, daggers, and slings, and they don't really require any skill to use them. Whereas martial weapons, those are the weapons that require more skill and training to use. Things like a longbow or a flail. No weapon group is better than the other, and no weapon is vastly superior. It's all dependent on how you want to play. Some weapons have different traits depending on how you use them. For this example, I'm going to be using the spear. The spear is a simple weapon that deals 1d8 damage while being held in one hand. It can also be wielded with two hands, which increases the damage to 1d10. On top of all that, it can also be thrown in a range of about 80 feet for 1d8 damage. Now let's look at armor. Armor is broken up by weight and defense provided by the type of armor. Basically, the heavier the armor, the less you'll be able to move, but the more you'll be protected. Armor helps you determine your armor class. Armor class, in simplest terms, is how hard you are to hit, whether it's through speed or sheer might. So for example, if you are wearing no armor and just in your regular clothes, that is 10 plus your dexterity modifier. If you wear light armor, it becomes 10 plus your dexterity modifier plus whatever your light armor rating is. If you choose medium armor, you get a higher rating, but your dex bonus can only be added up to 2. That's good for people who have a low dex, but still want some movement. Heavy armor rating is set and doesn't get a dex bonus because you are dummy thick with heavy armor. Finally, some of the medium armors and all the heavy armors give you disadvantage while sneaking. This is because you're walking around in loud, clunky armor. The last piece of equipment I want to talk about is your adventuring gear. Those are things like rope and your backpack. Depending on your DM, you may get some of these from the start, but it's a good rule to just have a backpack, some rations, a tinderbox, and a water skin, just so your character doesn't die out there. But there are even more fun things you can have in this adventuring gear list, like buying oil and starting large fires. There are literally tons of adventuring equipment out there, and some of it is useful, others of it isn't, but it's up to your creativity, really. Welp, it looks like I'm out of time for the last time. It's been awesome. I'm Dicey, and keep watching Gentoo.
Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of Project Delta. I'm Dalton Spees and with me this week is
Molly Gardner.
And this week, I decided, racing games were really fun last week with me and Nathaniel, so I brought in another racing game. So this week we've got the newest iteration in the Need for Speed series. This one is Need for Speed Heat. We've got Molly on the sticks this week. Hopefully she can try not to get into too much trouble and obey all the laws. You can go ahead and
Do that.
yeah, just put your marker. Yep, so they're at 130 horsepower or whatever, and we're at 131. So hopefully we can win this race. But press A on it again.
God, okay.
And you can go ahead and back out. Oh, you keep there we go.
go.
Okay, so you're just gonna follow the yellow brick road on your mini map right there on the bottom left.
Okay, yep, I
And
see it.
yeah, we're gonna have a great time. But so I'm not much of a car guy, but I do have a history with the Need for Speed games, and I want to know. Do you have you played any of the Need for Speed games, or what kind of racing games have you played before?
I have not played any of the Need for Speed games. My brothers had GTA when I was growing up, and they're like 4 and 5 years older than me, so I didn't know what GTA was, so I just kind of like played it. Yeah, that was a mistake. But other than that, it's more of like Mario Kart.
See, so another instance of someone not knowing what GTA was. Actually, my oldest brother, I wouldn't say he tricked my grandmother into buying it, but needless to say, one time they went to the store, came back with a copy of GTA, and I think it lasted maybe a day or two before my mom found out that my brother was in possession of said copy, and it didn't last in my house very long. So, GTA, thankfully, I think GTA 5 came out on my birthday. So
Like a few years
it was just
ago?
just a nice little birthday
there you
present for
go.
me. But I think my first ever Need for Speed game was like Hot Pursuit back on the
there you
PlayStation
go.
1. And
Oops.
like I said, I'm not a car guy, but my dad is.
Oh.
So when I was younger, I would always like the Firebirds or the Thunderbirds, just because like that's a freaking cool name,
Yeah, yeah.
And so I told my dad, I was like, yeah, like I want to drive a Firebird, and my dad was like, no, you don't, because like he loves Oldsmobiles, and he always talks about the 442s and the Cutlasses, and hopefully eventually he'll get the one in our garage up and running, which would be amazing, because I'd get to drive it.
So if you could have any car, what would it be?
I would go with probably a Tesla Roadster.
Oh, man.
I don't know if it's got the kind of leg room that a man of my stature needs, but I think it's cool. We're saving the environment. We're supporting Elon Musk and all of his ventures. You're going the wrong way.
Where am I supposed to go?
You can
Okay,
see
the dude.
that, the portrait. And you'll get over to his little beacon. You'll just kind of press the right bumper, and hopefully that'll get us into the race. And hopefully we can win, or at the very least, break so many laws that the cops will come after us.
Okay, where do I
Which,
go? 'Cause I am at his
straight
portrait.
and to the left.
Straight and to the left. Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, God.
A little bit more left. Oh, we're getting. That's
Yeah,
a pull.
okay, I
There
see it
is.
now.
It's a
Yeah.
dexterity check,
Yep.
but it's available in the daytime. Maybe it'll.
Oh, God.
Oh, we have to switch to the night. Gosh darn it. So we're gonna make our way back to the garage
Okay.
so that we can Actually, we can fast travel.
We are going to do that.
Yes, that is 200 IQ. If you don't have fast travel in your game, then why do you even make a game, really? But so I want to know, obviously there's a whole bunch of different kind of cars that you can drive in these games. Is there any like type of car that really just, actually there's some races
there we
up
go,
there.
finally.
They just popped. But is there any specific type of car that you like to drive in these games?
I go for the fanciest car.
The fanciest car.
The one that looks the best. How do I fast travel? It doesn't have
You can't
fast
fast travel these. You have to back out and drive yourself over there, sadly. So you can just hit B to back out.
Okay, and then go.
Yep. So you're saying you're a member of the If It Ain't Foreign, It's Boring club.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
much.
those foreigners make some nice stuff. Actually, right now we're driving a BMW, which is not an American-made car.
Oh, there you go.
I think a cop just drove right past you, or
that's
maybe
nice.
a rival
Oh,
racer.
God. I gotta go this
It's
way.
okay. You were following the law, so they didn't even look at you.
Oh God, I gotta go this way again.
We're just barely making these turns. But,
There we go.
There, yeah, hit that boost. So, usually the racing game that I most prefer to play is, you can go ahead and keep going straight.
Oh, keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what I just passed then.
No, it was just a little like speed test type thing.
Oh,
Try to see how
nice.
fast you can
Okay,
go.
well, I'm gonna go faster.
Even faster. But so I really usually like playing the Forza games because I play on an Xbox, so they're available to me. And I think that they're always really fun games. They're more, especially like the right left, take it hard left, a really hard, oh, that's a wall. But they've always got like really nice cars. They always show up to E3 with this new car that nobody's ever seen before, and you'll probably never be able to afford in your entire life. But you can play it in a game, so.
But it's always nice to see it.
Exactly.
And maybe like sit in it and be all like, yeah, I sat in this really nice car.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty, and oh God.
Yeah, no, those are just palm trees. They're not very strong. They can't withstand this nice Beamer.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, driving a straight line.
Yep.
Okay.
You'd be surprised I passed my driver's ed test.
Just by 1 point. Oh, back it up.
Yep, back it up,
There we go, press RB. Oh,
there we go.
We have done it.
Oh my God, why couldn't we have fast tracked?
Fast travel everywhere. New place you've never been before, let me fast travel.
Let me fast track. I wish that was in real life.
But one of the things I really enjoy about racing games is the customizability.
There you go.
You can see right now on this car.
Sea monster.
Yes, but you can see we've got like a custom wrap that I found on the internet because I'm not very artsy. So I tend to usually let like the community creations fuel my need for really cool looking paint jobs on my car.
Right.
And that's
no Naruto?
Well, actually, that's my favorite thing about Forza is you can actually like search by tags. So you know, if you're looking for something in particular, like for me, you know, I was looking for a Naruto wrap because in there I drive a Nissan GTR, which is of course a Japanese company. So I threw a nice little Naruto wrap on there just to really get into the aesthetic of the GTR and Sharingan everybody behind.
You know, I am going 117 miles per hour. I can't do this in real life, so might as well do it in a game.
You are rocking it right now. This is,
God.
I spoke too soon.
Literally rocking it, going into a rock.
Right in, yes, just J-Rock in the rock pile right there. You just ran right into him. This is, compared to your driving that you did to get here, this is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Even.
Oh God. Oh God.
Sorry about that.
Wow, you spoke too soon. I'm still in first. I'm still in first.
You're still in first by 15 yards.
Wow.
But we're doing it.
Speaking of which, we should do this.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yes, the cops are on us. Just see now, I've tried getting the cops on me. I was playing this the other night, and I think I won like 3 races and didn't get the cops on me the whole time. So I think maybe I'm just more of a law-abiding citizen when it comes to driving than Molly.
I'm literally just go as fast as you
it's
can.
like if she even like sniffs a race, the cops are right on her. But so of course, like the cops, it's a big part in this game. In recent Need for Speed games, you've been able to play as the cops. I don't know if you can play as the cops in this game. I would kind of imagine you could, but also I wouldn't be surprised if you can't. So usually, like, you have those cop cars, which are pretty much the same as all the other cars you can drive. They've got Lamborghini cop cars, like we're in Dubai on the set of Need for Speed for some reason. But while Molly's trying to finish up this race and hopefully get first place and also escape the cops by maybe not jumping into a river, we're gonna have to wrap it up.
I don't see what's wrong about jumping into a river to avoid cops.
Hey, there it is. We're gonna have to wrap it up. Thank you very much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week on Project Delta. See ya.